Hello, everyone. Welcome you all. We have another precious guest today again. Actually, she was with us about one month ago, I think. Mine Balman is here with us today again, and we watched Olivia, another documentary of her. It was very actually impressive and inspiring documentary, and we couldn't make it online because it is still in festivals. It is screening in festivals. I find Mina's documentaries as very good examples, especially for peace building process in Cyprus, because we are living in a divided and conflicted society, which we don't have a solution. So this is a very good example which contributes to peace building process. It gives us some information that yes, we can make peace in Cyprus. This kind of human-oriented documentaries shows that there are good. We can have good friendship um, between two communities. Uh, okay, I can talk about this issue actually until night, but today is our guest day. She's going to talk about it. So before giving the floor to her, I would like to read her inspiring short biography, and then I will give the floor to Mina Balman. And before I start, actually, thank you for accepting our invitation, and for the second time that you are with us today. Yes. Mina Balman was born and grew up in Nicosia, Cyprus. She received degree of MSc in Management, Bachelor's in Computer Science and Filmmaking certificate from the London Film Academy. Between 2006 and 2020, she worked as the first assistant to the Turkish Cypriot member at the Committee on Missing Persons in Cyprus. She was a passionate supervisor manager with 14 years of experience improving Committee on Missing Persons in Cyprus by communal humanitarian general exhumation and identification and return of remains project. Since 2006, she has actively taken roles in human rights, gender equality, and peace and reconciliation organizations. She worked actively within the bicommunal groups, contributing to the peace-building efforts in Cyprus as an activist. She worked actively in many truth and confrontation campaigns. She was a member of the Gender Equality Platform, founder of the Engelsiz movement that made awareness campaigns for disabled people, and was among the founder group who organized and registered to LGBTQI+ Association Hockey, known as Queer Cyprus, and made the LGBTQI+ movement visible in the northern part of Cyprus. She was the director of two books, they were not the only ones that disappeared, written by the former Turkish Cypriot member of the Committee on Missing Persons, Gülden Plümer, in 2022. Ona Selam Söyle, written by Dr. Derviş Özer in 2013. Since 2005, she has directed documentaries and short films on unofficial oral history, storytelling and memory studies to create bridges between the past and future and initiate healing processes in post-conflict area. She received the award of 7th International Young Women's Peace and Human Rights from Democracy Today, Armenia, when Hands Across the Divide has nominated her 2018 for her documentary Together. She has directed 10 documentaries since 2005. As I said, this is a short but really inspiring biography. Now I'm going to give the floor to Mina Balman, and please don't hesitate to ask questions. I will have some questions for you as well about the documentary after Mina's discussion.
Thank you very much, Uri, and thanks for coming. Actually, I want to start the motivation of preparing this documentary. Um, as um, as Huri described, I have been making documentaries in post-conflict area Cyprus to contribute to peace. Because I believe that although we have the politicians who have been negotiating for the political settlement, peace comes from the grassroots. So we need to organize people and contribute to peace building process as the communities of Cyprus. Otherwise, whatever they do in the high level politics, it will not have the positive effects on the community level. So that's why I have been trying to record and share these kind of stories that can make people think, empathy, and let's say move one step forward for the peace process. Because when you are doing the conflict resolution activities, the first thing that comes should be communication and empathy. So actually, I knew the story of Olivia and Denise and Katie in their life because Denise was it is approximately the same ages with me, so we're in the same generation. And Katie was my Facebook friend. I was following her because of her concert. I met her mainly by communal activities while she was singing, so I knew the story. Also, while I was working at the Committee on Missing Persons, I knew that Katie has missing people in the family, so that's how we have also communication with the family as well. But one day, although I knew the story, one day I went to a bakery in the south to buy something, and I saw Olivia and Katie shopping there as well. And Olivia was one step forward and pulling Katie wants this, and this. And Katie was, of course, filling the basket for her. But then I was frozen. I stood up and I was watching them. I started watching them because there I realized another, let's say, side of this story. One is the old generation of Cyprus, which suffered from the wars, conflict, have missing people, lost their homes, had to restart a life after the war. And the other one is the new generation, has no clue about what happened in the past. So one is the past, one is the future. One is a Greek Cypriot, the other one is a Turkish Cypriot, which we have all been told that we are enemies and we cannot be together, we cannot live together, we cannot go to bakery and do shopping together. So that opposite things there showed me that that generational aspect of the situation. And actually and they're both women, so actually the men did the conflicts and the war, and then these women were trying to make peace. And there's also this solidarity between them, Katie and Denise. Denise is a single mother, and Katie is let's say supporting her in that sense as well. So bringing everything together, I thought that this story is a very valuable one, and we have to show this to people as a very good example. Because also when we talk about the cross-community friendships, relationships, we always have the examples that were before 74. So when people were living together in the mixed villages, working together, but after the crossings opened in 2003, yes, we have newly established friendships, which are also very valuable, and they're very good examples. So that's why I wanted to record and share this story with everyone, to circulate around, so that maybe it could influence other people. So yeah.
Yes. Can I ask a question?
Yes.
In which festivals and how many festivals was screened this documentary?
Yes, so far it was screened in 4 festivals. But in the summer there will be one, and November another one. These 2 festivals will be in Cyprus in the summer, and November one.
So it's been 1 year, as far as I remember, that you screened first this. Thank you for holding me the microphone. It's been 1 year that this documentary was screened, and so 5 festivals until now.
Yes.
Okay. What kind of difficulties you have faced while you are, recording these documentaries? I would like to ask this question.
Okay. Okay. I can say that all of my work are done with 0 budget. So we don't have any, let's say, financial funding from anywhere. I believe that this is important side to be independent. So that, because Cyprus is a small place, and being independent in this filmmaking, let's say, production, makes you feel more free, and you can do things more freely. But of course, standing on a 0 budget point brings some difficulties, because building up a team is challenging. But there are volunteer people who are also dedicated themselves for the peace building process, for the reunification of the island, who are contributing. So up until now, what we have been doing is not that a professional work. It's just the storytelling with the contribution of volunteers.
All of them are volunteers.
Yes.
Voluntarily contributing.
Yeah. Yes.
But this is very inspiring, actually. You have a question. We can take Turkish questions as well. Türkçe de alabiliriz. Arkadaşlar, Türkçe soru sormak isterseniz ben translation yapabilirim elimden geldiğince. Var mı sorusu olan? İrem, senden bekliyorum aslında.
Benden mi?
Evet.
Niye? Sorulabilirler. Soracağım tabii.
Sor. Mikrofonu
Böyle
al.
sorayım mı direkt?
Direkt mikrofonu alır alamaz sorabilirsin.
Açık mı? Açık. Ben ilk defa sizin isminizi burada duydum ve bugün özellikle geldim. Hani izlemek için ve hani anlamak için. Ve çok duygusal bir hikaye gerçekten. Hatta izlerken gözlerim doldu. Ne yalan söyleyeyim. Şimdi benim hikayemle aslında biraz onu bağdaştırdığım için de gözlerim doldu. Her neyse, ben merak ediyorum. Şimdi siz bunu iki toplumun aslında biraz daha sanki, yani onu öyle hissettim, biraz daha sanki hikayenin güney tarafından gelinmiş gibi geldi. Yani şunu neden hissettiğimi söyleyeyim. Kaybı olan taraf aslında Güney Rum kesiminde yaşayan ya da işte Kıbrıs Cumhuriyeti'nin Rum tarafında yaşayan bir aileydi temelde. Ve onun acısının üzerinden bir hikaye örülmüştü burada. Ben bir önceki belgeselinizi de izlemedim. Yani daha önce yapılan bir belgeselden daha bahsedildi bana ama ben onu izlemedim. O yüzden tamamen ondan bağımsız olarak soruyorum. Siz beni düzeltebilirsiniz. Daha ileriki çalışmalarınızda bunun tam tersi hikayeleri de, yani Türklerin, Kuzey Kıbrıs'ta yaşayan Türklerin üzerinden de benzer hikayeler yakalamayı düşünüyor musunuz? Ya da var saklayıp hani ileride bunu tekrar gündeme getirmeyi düşünüyor musunuz gibi bir soru geldi aklıma.
When let me translate it, just summary of it actually. She's asking, she found this documentary as Greek Cypriot oriented mostly, and she's asking whether she has another idea, which is whether she has in the future, for the future documentaries, whether she has another documentary idea which is more Turkish Cypriot oriented.
I'm answering in English.
Uh,
Yeah, okay. Okay, what I have been doing so far, I always try to be balanced. So, although in this story, Katie is a Greek Cypriot and Denise and Olivia are Turkish Cypriots, and Katie is the one who has the missing people or who was displaced, lost the homeland. I think these are all the symbols. Because at the end of the documentary, Denise was saying that a family who had been gone all these sufferings in the past was looking to the eyes of a child and feels hope. So I think that's the message. It doesn't matter if a Turkish Cypriot or a Greek Cypriot had sufferings. We all know that both sides had the similar experiences, and the pain doesn't have any nationalities. Pain is the same. So it doesn't matter. It would be exactly the same if Katie would be the Turkish Cypriot one and Denise and Olivia would be the Greek Cypriot one. The most important thing is, although these things happened in the past, by knowing them, not to ignore them, by knowing them, we can still build a peaceful future. That's the most important thing for me, because I think that's what we need in Cyprus. As a generation who was born after the conflict, after the division, while I was growing up, and it's same for everyone, it's not only me, we have been carrying the loads of these past conflicts. And we couldn't avoid. That's why living in Cyprus and growing in Cyprus is a very difficult and challenging thing, I think. So it doesn't matter if you are a Greek Cypriot or a Turkish Cypriot. So with my experience, the crucial thing is to see that everyone suffered, but we have to look forward and we have to, let's say, build not let's say, forget about what happened before. By knowing that, build new experiences.
yes.
Tabii. Çevireceksen çevir.
Sevgili Uludağ'dı yanlış hatırlamıyorsam, değil mi? Bu
Evet.
Documentary'de de gördüm sanki.
İsmi geçti, evet.
Onun aslında çok da hikayeleri var. Benim takip ettiğim ve okuduğum her iki taraftan da hikayeler hatta yazıyor. Onları dokümente etmeyi düşünüyor musunuz? Ya da onların belgeselini çekmeyi düşünüyor musunuz? Ama o çünkü sanırım sadece yazı olarak yazılıyor o hikayeler. Bunu özellikle neden soruyorum? Çünkü şeyde çalışmışsınız.
Kayıp Şahıslar
Komitesi'nde çalıştığınız için soruyorum. Yani orada ciddi hikayeler vardır diye düşünüyorum. Her iki toplumda da, ki %100 katılıyorum size. O yüzden sordum. Yani bu hikayelere bu şekilde, bu insan hikayelerine devam etmeyi düşünüyor musunuz? Yoksa başka bir yöne evrilecek mi çekeceğiniz belgeseller?
Let me translate it. She's asking, there is a journalist, Sevgili Uludağ, peace journalist actually. She's a peace journalist. she's writing about, the real stories, human-oriented stories especially about missing persons in Cyprus. And she is asking whether she has any idea for making those stories documentaries. Yes.
Yes, thank you for this question. For me, I think while working at the Committee on Missing Persons, I have been I was motivated to work there, let's say, because of this storytelling part of me, because I was listening to human stories. Although they were traumatic, they were all about the past conflict. I like listening to human stories, and I have always this instinct to forward them to the people. So I have ideas of making, let's say, some other documentaries about the missing people. Although I contributed few documentaries that were done by other people while I was working at the Committee on Missing Persons. So I was not contributing as a filmmaker, but as a person who was working within the committee. I believe that yes, these stories should be known by everyone, because what I see is that the relatives of the missing people have this difficulty that actually they're not recognized by the communities. Although everyone knows that there are some missing people, the relatives of the missing people suffered a lot for a long time, and no one really supported them. So yes, these stories needs to be recognized and visualized so that people will know about them. But I have this feeling that I think I was also emotionally affected by those stories. So I think I need a little bit more time to see things as a filmmaker, not someone within the families. Because I always have, while I was working 14 years there, I always have the feeling that I'm part of the relatives of the missing people. So in order to produce something, I have to step back a little bit, so that it will be more, let's say, I can make a more efficient, let's say, a filmmaking process. Thank you.
Mikrofon alabilir miyim?
Buradan da.
Şimdi şey merak ediyorum Ecek'ten işbirliğini. Şimdi 74'te veya 74'ten önce ailem burada değildi. Ama 76'da buraya gelip yerleşti aileleri. Annem burada doğdu, ben de burada doğdum. Mesela şeyi merak ettim. Ben mesela Türkiye'ye gittiğim zaman onlardan sayılmıyorum. Yani Türkiye'li değilim ama buraya geldiğim zaman da bunlardan sayılmıyorum. Buralı da değilim yani. Ondan da merak ettim. Yani nasıl söyleyeceğimi çok merak ettim açıkçası yorumunuzda. Teşekkür ederim.
Çok zor bir soru sordun sen şu anda.
She's saying that her family came here in 76. Yes, and her mother was born in Cyprus, and she was born in Cyprus. When she goes to Turkey, she feels that she doesn't belong to them, and when she is in Cyprus, she feels that she doesn't belong to here in Cypriot community, and she's asking about her idea. And if I have, can I answer? I can't stop myself. I'm sorry. Wherever you, don't look at people around you. How you feel is the true perception or the feeling that you really belong to. That's why the important thing here is what you feel and how you feel about your identity, the perception of identity. Another question? let her to
Okay.
give her answer, and then
Actually, I would say the same thing. Identity or identity building is something that you cannot decide yourself. It's just how you feel it. And I think this problem is not only yours. It's a problem that was created by the politicians. I think after the war, they made some decisions to, let's say, carry population from Turkey to here. From today, we can judge this, and we can say that it's correct or wrong. In my opinion, let's say it didn't affect the Cypriot communities here in a positive way, because it was done artificially. But this is a humanitarian issue. You cannot just say that, you cannot just discriminate people. So after a very long time, let's say your family came in 76, and today we're in 2023, we cannot, let's say, turn back and change the realities. So today we have to find the humanitarian solution for this. I believe that no one should be discriminated. And if you are feeling that you belong here, you belong here. So yeah, it's a very difficult thing, and it's also a very personal thing, because I know some people who were born here, raised here, and you cannot say that this is not this person is coming from a Turkish family. So yeah, if you are feeling Cypriot, you are Cypriot. And I hope you will not experience any, let's say, negative things. I think this is a very good topic to make a documentary.
yes,
as
that's
well.
what I was gonna ask actually.
Yes.
You should do this.
Because it's something that, okay, I have communications. I know many people in the Greek Cypriot community who doesn't really know the aspects of this problem. And also within the Turkish Cypriot community, also, although we are all living together, people sometimes does things that are not thinking that they are racist, or they are not they are discriminating. So in order to confront with this problem, by leaving those political decisions of the previous politicians out, yeah, humanitarian side should be shown as a good side of confrontation.
Actually, that's the reason that I find Mina's documentary is very impressive and important, because she is showing the true stories that people are, living in, which actually inspire people, and which actually increase the empathy among the communities in Cyprus. There isn't only Turkish Cypriots and Greek Cypriots as well. There are Armenians, Turkish people, and Maronites, and these kind of true stories help us to understand the other people's perspectives, experiences, and the difficulties that they are facing in their lives. That's why, and as she said, she is doing these documentaries. She doesn't gain any money. She doesn't take any money from, anyone, and she's doing this job voluntarily. So this is very important. That's why I find it very inspiring, and I really, this documentary, I think you should make it. It is very important, especially in both sides of the Cyprus. Any other question? I have one more question. What do you suggest to students, actually, I'm always saying that we can sometimes find ourselves in a situation that, especially in Cyprus, because of the harsh conditions, we can find ourselves as we can't do anything because this is a very small island and we don't have very good conditions. So maybe sometimes we couldn't find a little inspiring clue for, you know, to create something or to, you know, leave that our aims actually. What do you suggest our students in these kind of harsh conditions? What should they do to motivate themselves?
I think the most important thing is to believe. So if you have an idea, you have to believe in yourself. Fundraising is a very, let's say, challenging thing in Cyprus for the filmmaking process, because it's very difficult to find sponsors. Also, people were not used to crowdfunding. So this kind of, let's say, trials were not always successful. But of course, if you have an idea and you don't have money, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it and you just leave it aside. I know that building up a team for the filmmaking is a very difficult thing as well. Although we have very valuable people in this filmmaking sector, because of the, let's say, economical issues, people they were working in different areas. So okay, maybe I'm not a good example because I tend to, instead of doing nothing, I tend to use more amateur films with the minimum, let's say, opportunities, but at least it's a production and it's sharing the ideas. So maybe things could start like that, and then you can build up a, let's say, good team, and then you can raise money. I mean, when I'm thinking now, when I started in the beginning, maybe I wouldn't, if I would like to find funding, no one would be giving me money. But now, after making so many documentaries, maybe now it will be much more easier if I go out and ask for sponsorship. So just start, and then it will come itself.
Never give up. Any question?
Ben bir soru sorayım.
Hoş geldiniz öncelikle. Ben de Türkçe soracağım yalnız sorumu. Ben de Türkiye'liyim. Benim eşim Kıbrıslı. O yüzden ben Kıbrıs'ta yaşıyorum. Ve mesleğim gereği de aslında bütün görüşleri dinlemeye çok açığım. Dinlerim yani her görüşü. Yapılan başka belgeseller de var. Mutlaka biliyorsunuzdur. Televizyonlarda gösterilen. Dolayısıyla hani ben denk geldiğim için izliyorum onları. Yani objektif olmak bakımından. Orada anlatılanlarla sizin bugün bize gösterdiğiniz o kadar farklı ki. Yani ben çok duygulandım izlerken bu arada. Hani İrem'e de o konuda aslında aynı soruyu soracaktım neredeyse. Hani acaba onlara karşı da hani bakın böyle bir şey de var gibi mi acaba bu belgeselin amacı? Yoksa gerçekten hani bunu kalben gerçekten markette gördünüz ve çok hoşunuza gitti, çok duygulandınız. Bu yüzden mi yaptınız? Aslında bunu merak ediyorum. Çünkü şu an çok farklı bir bakış açısına sahip oldum ben mesela bugün. Televizyonda gösterilenlerdense hani. Bu çok farklı mesela. Bilmiyordum ben böyle bir tarafı olduğunu. Ne düşünüyorsunuz bu konuda? Onu sorayım.
Soruyu çevireceğim.
Okay, let me translate. I'm very bad at translation, by the way. She's asking whether she was inspired for making this documentary when she saw Katie and Olivia in the bakery, or was she inspired by showing this kind of examples to people? Because in the in the TVs we can see, yes, some documentaries about Cyprus conflict, but everyone has a perspective, ideology, and the media, they show us something how they want us to see. So sometimes it can be biased. Therefore, she was shocked today when she watched this good example, and she's asking this question actually to Mina.
Yes, thank you. I think I have problems with the mainstream narratives, official narratives myself. So all my work were not, let's say, around the mainstream narratives. So the stories that I have been, let's say, recording so far were the stories that were not told in the schools, that were not, let's say, not in the school books, or not, let's say, discussed in the televisions. So these stories were always suppressed and not really known around. So that's why, actually, when I saw Katie and Olivia, although I knew the story, that's how I was first. Okay, when I was when I'm making a film, I have to first convince myself. So although I know the story, when I saw that angle, as I mentioned before, that there are some, let's say, there's a contrast, old generation, young generation, Turkish Cypriot, Greek Cypriot, all those things affected me a lot. So I felt triggered that actually when we look from that side, a person who had all those experiences in the past puts an effort to build a, let's say, peaceful friendship relationship with a child. I think that should be known by everyone. So that's the motivation, and yes, this is how I think we should continue.
Yes. Any other? Özer? İlden? Çağdaş hocam? Okay, yes.
Documentary'de sanırım Deniz Hanım'da değil videodaki şey dedi, işte ben dedi çocuğumun sınırlandırılmış, yani sınırlı bir şekilde dedi büyümesini istemiyorum. Sadece dedi hani kuzey taraftan niye büyüsün dedi. Bütün Kıbrıs'ta hani şey yapsın. Sonuçta Kıbrıs'ta Cypriot değil. Mesela az önce dediniz ya, nereli hissediyorsan oralısındır diye. Ben mesela atıyorum Kıbrıs'ta hissediyorum. Çünkü buralıyım sonuçta. Burada doğdum büyüdüm ve buranın kültürünü. Burayı biliyorum yani. Bir gün gittik Güney Kapısı'na ve dediler ki tamam ben seni buradan geçiririm ama diğer taraftaki geçirmez büyük ihtimalle dedi. Ama annemle geçirirsen bir deneriz geçirmeyi falan dediler. Mesela oluyor. Ben bu taraftayım ama arkadaşlarım küçüklüğümden beri hep şeydi. İşte hafta sonu gittik geldik şunu yaptık bunu yaptık. Böyle çok kötü oluyor. Yani hiçbir zaman gidip o tarafı görmüyorum. Çünkü ben bu tarafta hapsolmuşum dediği gibi. Yani özgür değilim, kısıtlanmışım bu tarafta. Ve bu tarafta yetinmek zorundayım. O kadar. Bunu da söylemek istedim. Evet. Onunla ilgili merak ettiğim bir şey söyleyebilir misiniz?
Çevireceğim.
Hadi çevireyim. Yeni mesleğim.
Canlıdır diyor dedim.
She is, as you said, she came, her mother is from Turkey, so actually her family came here in 76, and even though her mother was born in Cyprus, she couldn't cross to the south side. Actually, this is the rule which the Republic of Cyprus put for Turkish citizens, let's say, who came from Turkey. So she is saying that, okay, you are telling me that, yes, I should belong to Cyprus. I should say wherever I belong to, actually. However, her friend can cross, but she couldn't. She hasn't seen South Cyprus in her real life even once. And in the documentary, Deniz Birinci said, I want my child to raise in both sides, in whole Cyprus, so she can have that feeling that she belongs to the whole Cyprus. So she just shared this experience and her feelings with us.
Okay, maybe I can say that as John Lennon said in the song Imagine, I wish there are no countries.
Yes.
So there are no, let's say, borders, and everyone could live in the world as one country, so that no one will be limited to a geography. I think that's the most. That's the most important thing. I can feel what you are saying, because before 2003, we, as Turkish Cypriots, we were living like that. So we were living only one side of the island, and no one could cross. And yes, it wasn't a good, let's say. I mean, you can travel all around the world, everywhere, but you cannot go to the other part of your country. This is not acceptable. So that's why actually we want this island to be reunified. It's not only, let's say, for me or for my child. It's for everyone, because this is nonsense. Having wars, having borders, barbed wires. Still, we have the barbed wires in 2023. This is not acceptable.
Yes. Any question? No? Okay. Thank you again, Mina, for being with us today. This is the second time, and she didn't refuse me. No. When I asked her to be here with us today, and thank you again for these inspiring documentaries, and I hope and I wish you will have another, more human-oriented documentaries which contribute to peace-building process in Cyprus, and our students who are at the very beginning of their life. Yes, I'm going to close the program like a TV programmer. Let's meet next week on Friday. I would like to ask you to be with us today, and see you next week.
Well, that was not a bad shot, but this is not how it all started. I've always been dreaming of becoming a filmmaker. I believe that a good movie can make our world a better place. But I need to learn more. Life is like a video game. It's fun and it's challenging at the same time. Every accomplished mission leads to another one. Look at these harmonious moves. A perfect combination of mind and body, absolute freedom of self-expression. Art imitates life, and nature is the ultimate masterpiece. To design like a master, you must learn the basics and then go beyond. But how? So our journey began to this magical place, Cyprus. We found our voices. We heard each other's songs. We captured our moment, and we painted our lives. Not to mention the fun. We illuminated our future. We learned from the past. The craft and the knowledge came together to create art. There's a lot to discover and a lot to be done. We were taken by hand, one by one. The journey goes on, and the future is bright. The seeds we planted will give years of beautiful blossoms. So our dreams came to life, and life became like a dream. The magic is real, only if you believe. The journey we began finally came to an end. But it's time for a new start. Now, let's take another shot.